Back to my channel. It is your girl Maya. As always, did you guys notice the channel change? Obviously, I went from Maya's World to Maya Marche. I will be changing my intro as soon as I feel like it because yeah. So in today's video, we're gonna review the last 20 years of my life personally and just things I've seen happen over the last 20 years, 19 years. I'll be 20 next year. And then in my next video following this, we're gonna talk about 2019 by itself, and we're going to talk about what my plans are for 2020 and years after that. So obviously, if you guys know, I was born on October 26th with me. I'm super cute and adorable. Nothing really happened interesting in my childhood. I had a pretty boring childhood. Other than a few going to the aquarium, going to Smithsonian. I did things like that. So yeah, my childhood wasn't all that exciting. So then middle school, obviously everyone knows what middle school is like, and I have a whole separate video I'm currently putting together for middle schoolers themselves, and I'm going to go talk to some freshmen and some other kids that I know and let them give their advice for middle schoolers for going into high school, and I'm going to give my advice for middle schoolers, and it's just going to be a great video. So I hope you guys are ready for that one. Stay tuned. I cannot wait to get my phone fixed or get a camera because this little crack in the screen is really bothering me because like parts of my screen looks really pretty and the other parts of my screen look really gross and cloudy. But yeah. So then I got to high school. So high school is when all the fun happened. So I actually wrote it down so I wouldn't forget anything. So when I started high school, I went to a pretty much all-white high school. I'm pretty sure I could count on at least maybe one hand, maybe two and like two fingers of all the black kids that were in the school, including me. So yeah, there weren't very many black kids. It was a bunch of yee-yees and country boys, quote unquote, and they were just, I went to an all-white high school. In the first 2 years of being in high school, I dated two very abusive guys. One I broke up with before. Ooh, my phone's gonna die. Hold on. Ooh, this cheese destroyed my phone. Hold on. Okay. Ooh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, we're not. Okay, anyways. Oh, don't be a pain in my butt cheek. Come on now. Let's see, that work? Okay, that works. Sorry for that technical difficulty. Anyways, so in the first 2 years of high school, I dated two very abusive guys, one more abusive than the other. The first abusive boyfriend, I ended up breaking up with him. We broke it off. It was just too much for me, too much for him. He wasn't always abusive. Eventually, life got to him, and he decided to take it out on me, which, I mean, whatever, who cares? So then the second guy I dated, also another abusive guy. He was physically abusive, emotionally abusive, mentally abusive. I went through a lot of depression at that time. I was really depressed. I'm not saying I don't still deal with depression now. It's more controlled now than what it was then. I was also going through hormonal changes. I was going through other problems with my life, and he just made it worse. And he would beat me down and beat me down and beat me down. So yeah, that was the beginning of high school for me. I couldn't dress the way I wanted to. I couldn't act the way I wanted to. I was this goody two-shoes trying to date this bad boy, and it didn't work out. So yeah. At that first time, I met my lifelong best friend, which I originally met in middle school, and she's been my best friend ever since. It's one of those, I don't talk to her every day, but I know that when I need her, I can always call her, and I'm planning on surprising her very soon as I figure out what to get her. So I'm going to be surprising her, so that might be a vlog too. At the beginning of high school, my first 2 years, again, I was still at this all-white high school. I took my first stand against racism, which was really big for me, at least, because I've been talked to about racism my entire life, and I was wrong, and, you know, I'd never been faced face-to-face with racism until I went to this school. And so I went to this school. This kid, he used the N-word and some other very racial subjective words towards me, and a few other kids that were not within the white race of that school, and I finally had enough, and I actually ended up getting in a lot of trouble because I ended up punching this kid. But no one cares about that. They only care that he got hurt. So, yeah, I took my first stand against racism. Probably didn't do it the best, but, you know, whatever. And then I also took my first stand against bullying. I protected this kid from being bullied, which was really great for me. That's kind of where my whole rest of my high school career, that's kind of where everything started shifting into that. So yeah, basically the kid was bullying. This kid was a special needs kid that was getting bullied, and I basically was just like, you need to stop. I didn't hit anybody this time. I said, you need to stop. And then I had a few other people like, yeah, that's not cool. And then the kid finally stopped after multiple times of us having to be like, look, buddy, like, I will. So yeah, that was my first 2 years of high school. Then I moved to the high school I graduated from. It was a very mixed high school. Still a lot of white kids, but it was more mixed in. You had a little bit more blacks in the school. You had more blacks in the school than I had been to before. And so, obviously life wasn't as easy, but I still ended up on the classes with all the white kids. Not really sure how that works, but who cares? So yeah, it just kind of happened, and I moved to that new school, and I was different. I was hoping this would be a start for me, a different start, no drama, no nothing. Obviously, that didn't work out very well. So when I moved here, I started dating this black guy. I had broken up with both of my exes at this time. One of them was still very in my life. He was still very, you're not getting away from me, you're not doing this. I eventually blocked him, had him reported, so I do currently have I don't have a restraining order against him, but I do currently have, like, if he were to do anything ever again to me, he's done for. So yeah, so I ended up dating a black guy, which gained me a lot of enemies. This was actually my very first black boy, like fully black boy. Of course, I dated a mixed boy, but the mixed boy was abusive. But this is my first fully black guy. It was actually really interesting. I really did like how cool he was. We had a lot in common. And he was just really sweet, so I wasn't expecting that. And I gained a lot of enemies, which one of my enemies ended up becoming my friend, which is really weird to happen, especially when it comes to dating and stuff. But these kids hated me because I dated this guy. Okay, new girl dating one of the most popular guys in school. I didn't mean to, I didn't know. Let's be honest here. I mean, that's how it happened. So then I met my favorite teacher, and she changed my life for, like, ever. So I knew for a long time I wanted to be a teacher. I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but I never really, like, the schools I had went to before, like my first high school, they didn't really have classes for kids that wanted to be teachers. They didn't really have those resources. Like, you could do like this internship program where you would go to like the elementary school across the street and you could do things for them, but it wasn't like really all that. So then I met this teacher, and she became like one of my she's literally one of the best people in the absolute world to me, and I obviously appreciate her 110%. More like 167%, because 67 is better than 110. So yeah, I met that teacher, and she really put it in my head, and she really taught me things I needed and wanted, and literally she's part of the reason I want to be a teacher. She's part of the reason. Like, she's just a good example for teachers everywhere. And of course, she's not perfect, but she's still a really good example for what a teacher should be. So yeah. Also, at this time, I met my boyfriend. I had broken up with the black guy. I know this makes me sound like a bit of a hoe, but it's okay. Who cares? Everyone has their hoe phase. But I broke up with the black guy because it was just too much for us. Then we broke it off. We had some problems, but we fixed them. We don't talk to each other. We don't acknowledge each other when we're around. It doesn't matter who we're with. We do not acknowledge them. I mean, still some of our friend groups are the same, but that's neither here nor there. And so he went on to date this other girl, and I went on to date my beloved right now, Matthew. So that was great. I met him. My life changed drastically again. First, because he was the first white guy I've ever dated. Now, that's really weird for me to say because I went to all-white school, but he was like the first genuine white guy I've ever dated. The other two, obviously there's a black one, there's a mixed one, and the other one, he was Australian. He was a foreign exchange student. So that one wasn't gonna last anyways, but who cares? So I met him, and we've been together for almost 2 years now. 2 years on December 22nd, which I'm thankful for. And then I met my second best friend, whom I call almost every week or talk to every day for the most part, unless I'm just really not into talking to people. So I met her, and me and her hit it off really well. It was really great. It was really fun. I loved it. We became best friends forever. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so in high school, I earned my TA license, which is my teacher assistant's license. I got that in my 11th grade year. So I've had it for about 2 years now, and I have not used it yet. I plan on using it. I also became co-president and vice president of 2 separate clubs, which is really cool. One was the anti-bullying club, as always. You guys know 4 Club, Friends of Rachel. If you know about the Columbine shooting, then that's like that whole thing, Friends of Rachel Anti-Bullying. I highly recommend you look it up. It is such a great program for kids to be in, so I highly recommend it. Yeah. I also became co-president, which was supposed to be secretary, but I ended up taking over pretty much and got this club running for the most part with the help of my teacher. Again, she was one of those teachers. She wouldn't let me do more than what she knew I could do, so she took off a lot of my load, but I still handled everything pretty well. I made sure everyone knew what was going on, what had happened, so yeah, became co-president. Again, I took another stand against racism. When I moved to the school, I wasn't expecting it to be as bad because there were so many more black kids, but there were a lot of more countryer children, okay? And they believed in using the N-word. They believed in being rude and racist. They had no respect for any of the kids in the black community at our school. So, you know, I eventually one day a kid had called me N-word and I was like, you're not going to do that. And, well, it didn't end well for him because, you know, one of my friends had came up and like, yeah, it wouldn't have ended well for him anyways. So I also got my first job in high school, my senior year of high school, which was really cool. I was cashier for a while, and then I quit because I hated it. Not gonna lie, I seriously hated it. What is on my face? I feel like there's something, there's like, I think there's some, like a pimple or something growing in right here. No, actually, it's going away, and I see it when I look down. And then I also got my first um, silver, thingy at my first FCCLA competition. I'd never joined a club that did things like FCCLA, so yeah, that was really cool for me. It was a 4th place silver, so there was like 2 bronze, 2 silvers, and there was actually 1 gold in my category, so I got the 4th place silver, which I'm really proud of. It means bronze, silver, gold. You can still technically say it's like a 2nd place kind of thing, but that was really cool for me. I had worked my butt off the entire year to get to that point where I could compete and have a really good competition. Obviously, there were things I could have did better to get gold, but who cares? The next thing is I met some amazing friends. Like, high school was just one time I met some of the most amazing friends I had never thought I'd meet in my life. And, well, a lot of us are still really good friends. None of them are my best friends or my boyfriend, so it doesn't matter. And I also graduated with the 4.2 GPA, which was not a 4.2 when I started my senior year. In fact, my GPA when I started my senior year was like a 4 point something. And then I took 2 classes that I totally failed and ended up with a 2.5. I had a GPA good enough to get me into like on an athletic kind of ability to get into college, but that was not what I wanted. So my second semester I worked my butt off in all the rest of my classes and I got that 4.2, which, yeah, that was pretty exciting for me. To graduate with 4.2, I really didn't think I was going to make it, but I did, with a lot of help from a lot of people. So yeah, I joined theater clubs. I was in 3 clubs in high school: anti-bullying, FCCLA, and theater. Yeah, those were not good times. I did theater all through high school, so I took a break my junior year, but my freshman and sophomore year, I was in theater. My junior year, when I moved, I had taken a break, and then my senior year, I was in theater. So yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm listening to them because I'm babysitting, and, well, they pretty much wash themselves, but you gotta be careful, because those two, they like to get into things. Also, my finger is kind of swollen. I don't know why, but anyways, so, that being said, by the time I graduated, I'm pretty sure I had a pretty awesome story to tell. At least that's my personal opinion. So, I had a pretty cool story to tell. I had experienced things that most people don't experience until they're older. I had seen things I shouldn't have seen. I lost a lot of friends along the way. Some to gang violence, some to drugs, some to health issues. I lost friends too. Just because we didn't see eye to eye. Yeah, it was really weird. It was really rough. But it was worth it, so yeah. So what have I learned in these last 19, almost 20 years of being alive? Your siblings, even if you hate each other, they're gonna be one of your closest, like, thingies. Your parents, I mean, you're gonna dislike them for a little while, but, well, they end up becoming some of your closest friends. I pretty much tell my mom everything, so. In fact, I didn't like my mom or my dad for the longest time, and now I tell my mom pretty much everything, and I tell my dad some things. What else have I learned? I learned that not everyone's your friend. Not every boyfriend that's playing the goody good is going to be a good guy. In fact, I learned that twice. I don't know why I didn't listen the first time, but I didn't. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so there's a soccer ball in my hand. There we go. Yeah. So, also I learned that sports will take over your life if you don't have control of them. So, yeah. So will clubs. They will stress you out just as much as regular school. So, please make sure you have your priorities set and what you're going to say. Don't jump into every relationship that happens. Please don't. That's another thing I learned. I learned that the hard way too. Please don't just jump into a relationship because some guy's showing slight interest in you. It's not gonna end well. That's kind of what happened when I first moved to my new school. I jumped right into a relationship. I didn't know anything about him. We literally talked for like a week or so. Let's see. I met him on Snapchat. He just so happened to go to my high school. I met him on Snapchat, and then, well, push come to shove. He's like, hey, you want to go with me to homecoming? I was like, sure. So we went. We didn't even go to homecoming. We ended up eating McDonald's like weirdos, but it was worth it. We did some dancing, which was really cool. It was really cute. We did some dancing. Other than that, yeah. I've learned that your teachers can be your bestest friends. Do your schoolwork and don't flunk out. Please don't flunk out. That was probably one of the biggest things I had to learn. I've actually failed quite like 4 classes my entire high school career. 2 in 1 semester, obviously. But don't flunk out if you can help it because, well, that could have been the difference between me having a 4.2 and having a 4.9. Like, that total difference right there. If you have the opportunity to take college classes in high school, be prepared that they're not going to be easy. In fact, that was probably one of the hardest classes I ever did. I still did better in that class than I did in the 2 classes that I failed, but it's not going to be easy. Don't just jump in because you think you can do it. I jumped in because I thought I could do it, and I've been doing it my entire high school career of being in advanced classes. But this was not just your average advanced class. This was a advanced college class. So, yeah. Take all your resources. Your teachers are really good resources. Talk to them, especially if they're in a career path that you want to be in. They know about it. Talk to them. They can help you. Your parents, if they have a career that you like. I mean, my parents don't have a good career that I like, so I'm not going to talk to them about careers. Whatever. If that's your thing. So yeah, I've learned a lot. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you everything I've learned. Some things I like to keep a secret. Like how to make grilled cheese in a toaster. Yeah, that's pretty cool. If you ever get a chance to try it, I would highly recommend you do it. So yeah. If you guys have anything you've learned in the last 2 decades, obviously 2020 is coming. It is literally right around the corner. Not literally, but it's pretty close. So, I mean, almost 2 decades of living, and I'm still an idiot. Here we are. I have not quite learned from everything. Oh yeah, one more thing. Make sure you tell everyone you love them because you never know what's going to happen. So basically, let's put the year in review. So we're not going to do that now. We're going to do that in the next video. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys have a lovely day. Mwah, 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 mwah. And I love you guys so much. See you guys in my next video. Peace out, Cub Scout.